So let's discuss exactly what are adaptogens like we have in our Vizure product and how they work to help us with dealing with stress, boosting our mood, helping with anxiety, all of these things. So basically, adaptogens can function in two ways. They can either affect the HPA axis or the adrenal system. Now, they act on these things by basically controlling the release of either catecholamines or cortisol. And to get a better picture visually of how we typically respond to stress and how adaptogens can help with that, we can take a look at this picture here. So this graph basically depicts how we usually respond to stress when a stressor is introduced into our lives. And there are three phases here. The first phase is the alarm phase, which is noted by this large dashed line, which is your fight or flight response. During this process is whenever you become more alert because you are producing more cortisol, you're producing more catecholamines such as epinephrine. And the next phase is the phase of resistance, which comes right after fight or flight response and is whenever you are continuing to release cortisol and epinephrine and basically trying to stay alert in order to deal with this certain stressor. So the last phase is known as the phase of exhaustion, which is noted by the this dip here with that line. During this phase, your cortisol and epinephrine levels basically crash. Your body says it's not able to continue fighting this stressor any longer, and then you in turn crash and experience these things like anxiety, irritability, moodiness. So here is the lowest point of that crash, and then after that your body basically acts to get back into homeostasis, which is that baseline level. So this dashed line is without the use of adaptogens, and now this solid line here is how the stress response looks like whenever you use adaptogens. So you can see here that the first fight or flight phase is much lower. So instead of having this huge spike in adrenaline and cortisol, you only have a minuscule spike. So you are more able to focus without, just getting totally overwhelmed with emotion or stress. Now, the most notable effect of adaptogens is during the phase of resistance. You can see it's much longer, basically allowing you to sustain that alerted level and deal with the stressor much easier, and then a much less of a crash when you return to baseline.